This is Neighbors IRL, a weekly challenge podcast hosted by Eddie Sang. It's written as you and me Daryl.
Just say it. Just read it as this.
And me Daryl. This is Neighbors IRL, a weekly challenge podcast hosted by Daryl Lee and me, Eddie Sang. This week's challenge: no Reddit.
Featuring a new audio noise, tissue grab. There's not gonna be a tissue blow because I don't blow my nose. Who blows their nose? I really don't understand people who blow their nose.
Are we go? You want to do this right now?
Is this a bit?
All right, let's go.
Are we recording or is this a bit?
See, you just don't have enough sinus congestion to not justify blowing your nose.
Yeah, I guess I'm not allergic to anything.
Because
so that's pretty good.
Yeah,
I thoroughly enjoy not being allergic to anything.
Well, sometimes you
It's a pretty superior
for
way
people
to
who
live.
have nasal allergies. Sometimes you just need the strength of an elephant to get all that stuff out. You know.
All right, if we're talking in pure terms of functionality of your nasal passages and your lung strength, it's easier to breathe in than breathe out, I think.
So
what I'm saying is you inhale all of the clogs, the fatbergs in your nose,
spit it out,
and then spit it out. It's a superior way of clearing your nose.
See that's you're assuming that all of that is liquid. What if it's like caked on? You can't even breathe. You gotta siege, Rainbow Six Siege. You gotta put the C4s. Gotta breach the walls.
Clearly you don't play Rainbow Six Siege.
You gotta shock your you gotta shock your olfactory senses into working again.
No, you just have to
get a nose spacer.
I mean, or you can just take pseudo. That clears your nose real fast. Pseudo nose drug here. Wait, is it pseudo?
Is this a bit?
No, this is actually a drug.
This is the warm up.
No, this is bromethylphenidramine pseudophenodrine, or usually just pronounced pseudo. I think it just clears your throats. It's usually in what is those Tylenol all-in-one cold and sinuses and cough suppressants. But people just say pseudo because no one wants to read French every time they want to take a drug.
I try not to take as much medicine as possible. That's my policy on that.
I mean,
I don't have like insane amounts of obstruction, like unlike some people I might know, or some other people who have it way worse than me. So like I'm at a bearable level. Like all I need is to carry a perpetual tissue box, and I'm okay. I'm fine. But some other people who just their noses are just oozing and blocked all the time, they might have a different policy on that. But that's just my policy.
I don't know how to respond to that right now.
Yeah, you're too clean, man. You're too clean. You just need go roll in some grass or
just take more drugs, man. Pills, powders, and drugs.
Instructions not clear. So cocaine.
I want to talk about something I've noticed recently for this freebooting phenomenon, where, last week we talked about curators and reactionary content creators.
Yes.
And I just noticed that the curator phenomenon is alive and well and happily leeching off of our economy, yet somehow doing better than the original creators. So you can look at the first Instagram link there, Eddie.
Okay. I was wondering what these were.
Just describe what you see here.
So what Daryl has linked me is a Instagram video of a cat that is nonchalantly being showered by a human, and it seems to be just chilling, just enjoying itself, and just doing cat things.
Okay. How many views do you see there?
Right.
On
So
the,
the number of views is 198,770. So just under 200,000.
Yep. All right. Now click the second link there. The
Alrighty.
facebook.com/happycatsonline video.
So
Eddie, would you describe to the court what you see here in front of you?
it is the same video with 29 million views. Can we do the calculation on this?
Oh, it's a lot more views. And I don't believe you're able to monetize Instagram views at all. But Facebook videos, I believe you do get some monetary kickback from.
I don't think so.
Eddie, do you see any credits on that Facebook video?
No, I don't.
Describe for the court your reactions to this, as we are now a reactionary podcast, 2017.
I don't think this person's actually making any money off Facebook as well. I don't believe so. I don't think Facebook has any monetization policy.
But Facebook does run ads on its platform, and Facebook does make money. So
Facebook itself
it is
makes
in
money.
Facebook's
Sure.
best interest to garner these views and kind of freeboot. whenever
Sure.
possible.
So, I mean, at this point, then now we're at a pass because both companies have a conflict of interest. So, if the objective is to have original, great content on every platform that's equally entertaining and original, then that conflicts with what Facebook wants, which is more views. And if something gets cross-pollinated and freebooted, then it is not in Facebook's best interest to take down a video with 29 million views.
Yeah. Just to review, freebooting is the practice of, this is on knowyourmemes.com, the premier premier website for learning about pop culture. Anyways, freebooting is the practice of downloading copyrighted content from a media hosting website and re-uploading it without the creator's permission, typically in order to accumulate a large following or for commercial profit through advertising revenue. So,
Well, thank you, Daryl, for freebooting that definition off that meme site.
to meta it was originally coined by Brady Heron on the podcast Hello Internet on episode 5, but I'll link a video of Smarter Everyday Dustin explaining how freebooting and Facebook and Instagram and YouTube kind of are interacting in the modern sense.
Remember, folks, he didn't invent it. He just popularized
Coined
it.
the term,
Yes.
And the other two Instagram links I've linked is just freebooting from Instagram to Instagram, but 9gag did credit the original cat poster, and the view disparity isn't as great, but I don't know what the solution to this is. It just doesn't feel right to me, knowing what I know. And cats are the lifeblood of the internet, and if we can't even give cats the proper credit, then what are we doing?
Well, okay. Well, at least in some sense, 9gag linked back to that page, because that's what people on the internet do, right? People on the internet, we are good citizens of the internet if we link to things, because by linking to things, you give, that sort of linkage from one audience to another audience. But at the same time, 9gag did pretty much just rip that video straight off this page.
Yeah,
I believe.
And at a certain point, it's not really like a collaboration or cross-posting, even if you're just kind of, as a curator, just taking other people's content and presenting it under your own brand.
Yeah.
They're not adding anything new. They're only serving themselves and serving the audience. But you know what? Never mind about all this. It seems, curators and content hosts seems to be what the people want and where all the views are coming to. So there's nothing we can do about it, I guess.
They just
Nothing we can do about it.
They just hit all the sweet spots in the niche that they belong into.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't know a lot of these cat posters on Instagrams without the cat curators. And I do follow both the specific cat curators and the cat accounts on Instagram. I don't. Whatever. But I guess life isn't fair. Who knew? Who knew life isn't fair?
Is that where we're going with this?
Yeah, I just, when I saw that 29 million views and I knew where the original post came from, I just thought, oh, man, life isn't fair.
In terms of curating content, but you're talking about curators in the fact that they steal other people's content? Like, that's what you're specifically referring to. Is that correct?
Yeah, I guess curator may not be the complete correct word, but yeah, people who just freeboot, basically.
Okay, so you're talking about freebooting curators, but I mean, if you're talking about just content curators themselves, like, that's very broad and generalized.
Is
And
there a positive content curator that you know of?
Well, basically all the social media companies are basically all content curators at this point. Do you agree?
Confirmed. Life isn't fair.
But do you agree?
Okay, there is a nuance there. So I would agree that social media platforms are content curators and content distributors in a sense.
Okay.
But they are adding the value of their platform, without which creators wouldn't be able to thrive. But when people are backpacking off of the platform and backpacking and being a leech on the original creators, then that's something I have a problem with.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can agree with that. The definite, that term, backpacking, it really gives a sense of imagery, and I like that word.
Yeah, just eye bleach or life bleach yourself and go click on those cats.
Digga, 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 digga.
So Eddie, you just finished that Vox Vine video. Do you still want to go wine tasting with me?
Yes, I do. I would love to go wine tasting with you.
How about you summarize the video for those who aren't able to view it?
Okay, so the video that I just watched, it's a 30-minute long video. So it is by Vox, and they are describing wines that are expensive and cheaper, and the taste ratings that experts and beginners give to these sorts of wines. So it turns out that in blind taste tests, a lot of people do prefer, I guess, moderate to cheaper wines. And it turns out when people figured out the price tag of the wines, where it was expensive, they would have the brain would generate more pleasure in the taste department, as one might say, in the brain, causing people to give the wine a higher rating when they knew it was expensive, and a lower rating when they knew it was cheaper. And that pretty much sums it up.
Yeah, and one interesting line they stated in the video was even judges for those medal competitions can't really tell the difference between the wines from tasting to tasting if it's a true blind contest.
Yeah.
Like the judges were rating one wine a gold medal in one competition and then the next calling it complete crap. I mean, should we even buy expensive wines, Eddie? Should we even drink expensive wines? As a more, we're both wine noobs in a sense, but I'd say I've tried a few more wines than you.
I have tried exactly 0 wines for reference. So, in my opinion, it really depends on if you can appreciate the nuances of things that are more expensive. So, as things get, in my opinion, as a collector of items, varying from fragrances to yo-yos to
yes, Eddie. This is why I wanted to bring up this topic. You see, Eddie, the wine market seems to be very much like your hobbies. You seem to enjoy the more high-end things in life. You seem to have a fine appreciation of things in life.
Yes.
Do you think at all your expectations are affecting your reality?
would I say my expectations are affecting my
Your
reality?
enjoyment of these high-end objects you have, your perfumes, your yo-yos, your pens, are they affected by the price tag?
To a certain degree, yes. When things are priced in a higher bracket, I would say more care, research, attention, detail, design are introduced into whatever product that you're buying. And to this point, maybe an unnecessary, complete waste of research, attention, design to a fault that, skyrockets the price. But in this sort of madness, can niche items exist? For example, you could import a tea that is so potent in some flavor that it gives off a blueberry aftertaste, which is fantastic. But it is, again, a very niche product.
Yeah, and it's interesting how you seem to be the type of person who, when you get into a hobby, really wants to learn everything about it, really wants to understand its history, kind of the mechanics of the hobby, what makes something of high quality and what makes something of, say, lesser quality. And you seem to have an appreciation for the high ends of these hobbies. But I guess it's interesting how for most people, it would not really make a difference.
Oh yeah, for
I've
sure.
seen in the wine video, or any hobby really, whether or not you're enjoying something expensive or whether you're enjoying something cheap. But it's interesting how when someone explains it to you, maybe you can learn more and more about it and be able to tell the nuances of what is good quality and what is bad quality.
Again, to emphasize a single point that I want to make is that you have to be able to enjoy those nuances to begin with. If you don't enjoy the nuances that are introduced when you're going up price brackets in these different things, then you are better off, sticking to things that are cheap or moderate. Even though the high end stuff, it's just not your taste. And that's a lot of what collecting things and wines are. It's a matter of taste, right? And it's a matter of preference. If you can't wrap your head around that things, like that's what I'm trying to say is not in a negative way, but to each their own. Some people enjoy the basics, and some people just don't want to pay 500% more for something that achieves relatively the same effect.
Yeah, and it's interesting how even I find it really interesting that the wine market, in that sense, like as the video said, like people can't really tell the difference between cheap and expensive wines. It seems to be, in a sense, an underdeveloped market or a non-efficient market. Like, assuming like economic theory or whatever, if a portion of the market's 100% efficient, what you get what you pay for, and it scales all the way up. But it doesn't seem to be that way in wine. And it may not be in a lot of hobbies you enjoy, or it might be in a lot of hobbies you enjoy. But, if more and more people enter the market and there's more and more information about it, you'd assume that the market, in a sense, gets more efficient and you get what you pay for. But that's not the sense. Isn't it so weird that it's not that way with wine? And it's not like wine is a new product that just came on recently.
Okay,
wine's been around for thousands and thousands of years. Why is it that expensive wines, only experts can tell the difference between the good and the bad ones? And, even some judges can't even tell the difference in a true blind taste test. It seems to be a very interesting market in that way, where the expensive ones aren't always the best, and there's too much interference with perception of the product compared to the quality of the product.
Yes. Few things. You made a lot. You had a lot going there. First of all, you're saying that you get what you pay for.
You should get what you
should get what you pay for.
If economic theory holds true, you should. Are humans rational actors, Eddie? People get what they pay for. People would never overpay for a useless product.
No, okay, yeah,
No.
but that happens in every single thing, right? So in every single aspect of life, you never get what you pay for unless it is insanely efficient price point. As you go up in price, you're introducing an X factor called human labor. And that is where the prices go insane. For example, if we were to pay full price for all our Nike products, all our Adidas sports brands, apparels, clothing, in all regions of clothes, we would pay easily 100 to 500% more due to human labor.
Yeah, interesting how this conversation just became an economics and marketing 101 course. But like human labor is a factor, but there's also the brand quality or the brand goodwill factor as well.
And there's also the other human factor, which is the consumer
and the perceptions.
Yeah, exactly. So in terms of wine particularly, it has too much subjectivity to be a defining, I think, an award-winning hobby.
That might be it. Well, people pay for courses on wine tasting. I'm sure there are wine tasting PhDs somewhere out there.
But can we truly have a wine tasting competition?
If even the judges can't tell the difference?
I don't know.
Well, I think one of the points they made in the video as well is like some of their judges aren't, I don't want to use the word certified, but they're not true experts, whatever the word expert means nowadays.
I think all wines in those categories should all be tasted blindly.
Yeah, that just seems to be
a given,
base
right?
requirement. Yeah. I think what might be it is, this is just my theory, that wine, I'm not an expert at wine. Again, let me preface this. I could be completely wrong about everything I'm saying right now, Eddie. But I think wine is a hard product to make, and it can be an inconsistent product to make. There's no Coca-Cola of wines. If it was easy as adding some water and sugar and then you're done with it, then you'd have the Coke versus Pepsi kind of giants battling it out in wine. But wine seems to be a harder product to make because there's many years of fermentations and like how the grapes are grown or whatever. There just seems to be too many factors in creating the wine. I think that's one thing. I think the second thing is, since it's such an old and kind of more of a high-end hobby or like a rich man's hobby or whatever, I don't think most people really get into wine tasting unless they're have a bit of class about them or whatever. But maybe this is changing.
Well,
and I think like in markets like that, the kind of experts, quote unquote, or like the popular people have too much pull in the market and like kind of expectations and perceptions.
Well, also at the same time, I think I would say the rate at which people get introduced to wine and other alcohols is the amount of, I guess, hosting or social, or I guess the amount of, or the level of social longing or socialness that they that they
Are you
experience.
saying more social people drink more?
Yeah, most likely, yes. Because they would, like, if you're hosted at someone's house,
Yes,
you get a cup of water, maybe a swirl of whiskey, but more commonly a glass of wine.
No,
exactly.
Yes, nailing the pronunciation. You just got to say Cab Sav. I don't think I'm even saying it right. Anyways, let's go drink some wine.
Yeah, let's go. Buddy. Yeah, definitely.
Let's get the most expensive ones.
Let's
blindfold ourselves. A/B test it.
Let's do NeighboursIRL on the road.
It will be the weirdest.
NeighboursIRL.
It'll be the weirdest wine tasting the wineries I've ever seen. Challenge. Are we just going to keep saying challenge? Challenge. All
right. This week's challenge
was
not to go on Reddit. How did you find this, Daryl?
It was torturous. Please save me from the prison that is my life before Reddit. I think I have some sort of soft addiction to Reddit. But
you brought you brought this upon yourself.
Listen, the NeighboursIRL mission statement is to try new things and try to better ourselves every week. And, overcoming addiction is something that does better yourself.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know, probably
I don't know
not.
about that. All right, how did you cope with this week's challenge?
So I had to block Reddit on my Chrome and I had to block it on my phone. I had to remove the Chrome from my front page. Yeah, it wasn't fun, but I did it.
We did it. Got it. So, I mean, it was fairly simple for me to block out Reddit from my life because I'm a very visual person. If I can see Reddit in the corner of my eye, I will 100% click on it. So I took it off my homepage on my iPhone. I took it off my tabs page on my Chrome. And usually that's how I access it. I click. I see and I click. So by taking it off, I replaced it with other things. Twitter, Instagram, something that replaces that icon. And of course, as expected, I went on those more. And I guess for you, Daryl, you're gonna need to disconnect your association with Chrome and Reddit because Reddit is Chrome for you and Chrome is Reddit.
Yeah, it turns out we browse Reddit differently.
So my proposed solution is that you shell out $1,000, buy an iPhone just for the Reddit app. I give you permission.
This seems to be a lot of money just to overcome an addiction. It might be easier just to give up my current phone. It would be cheaper.
Listen, what's the NeighboursIRL mission statement?
To improve ourselves. We gotta write a mission statement. Do you know anyone who can write mission statements?
Listen, our mission statement is to
try not
spend
to take over the world.
unnecessary amounts of money to solve our issues. In this case, you need to buy a $1,000 phone.
No, I think maybe I'll give the Reddit app another try, but Reddit's just such a great reference point, and it just seems to be I hate to say it, it seems to be like the pinnacle of internet and human achievements. It's like the new Wikipedia. Almost. Wikipedia's a bit more professional, but whatever.
I gotta agree with that. Like, if you have a problem in life, or you have some sort of question, or if you just wanted to know something, why not just go on Reddit? Someone's dealt with this before. If you wanted to make a purchasing decision, go on Reddit. If you want to figure out what compatibility certain products have with other products, go on Reddit. If you wanted to learn something about how to get started on a new hobby that you want, go on Reddit.
Yeah, if you want to learn something new and learn about professional opinions really quickly, want to gauge people's opinion across the world, go on Reddit.
Just go on Reddit. No, but yeah. So
but I find it baffling that you don't visit the front page of Reddit at all. That's all I do. And you just visit the front page of Reddit for your weekly updates. It's like the new news. Reddit was my source of news. I didn't know what was happening this week because of no Reddit, but I still lived. Apparently you don't need the news in your life to live. Apparently you don't need it, but it's so entertaining.
Reddit is
so
like
entertaining.
News. So usually how I structure my media flow is, while Reddit is a platform that I use a lot, I love YouTube. YouTube basically makes up 80% of my browsing. That's an overstatement. It makes up probably 50% of my browsing on the computer. And so while we're talking about curators, YouTube is a good curator of all the things that interest me particularly. And so instead of reading great, insightful comments on Reddit, I can just read the complete shit show that is YouTube comments. But I'll get to watch a ton of entertaining videos.
Yeah, but the YouTube comment is a giant cesspool feeding into another cesspool.
Sometimes
with the fresh cesspool pouring into the cesspool and concentrating under the sun of cesspools. See, the problem with YouTube is it's the old medium or the old formats of forum. It's just chronological order, and even like recently they added the upvote downvote system, but the algorithm is not as rich as Reddit. It's not as refined as Reddit.
Definitely not as rich, but
or maybe that's just our own preferences.
Sometimes you just want to watch the world burn and read the YouTube comments. Anyways, Daryl.
Okay.
Anyways, speaking of a absence of things in your life.
Transition.
There comes a time when on this podcast, NeighboursIRL, we add things to our life. We add things, we add stretching and some other challenges that are additive. And of course, this week we had a removal of Reddit.
The podcast giveth, and the podcast taketh away, Eddie.
So, This week's challenge, very simple challenge, on the theme of removal.
What happened to Giveth?
Do not swear for a week.
I mean, you know, that's...
No racial comments.
Oh.
No swearing.
Oh. You're gonna have to give me a list of what are swear words. You know, why don't we just define ourselves? Never mind.
Do I need to define racist remarks?
No, that's pretty clear. If it's on Urban Dictionary, you can't say it.
Okay. Do I need to? Okay. Swearing in the sense, the word stupid is where I draw the line on that one.
Is stupid a swear word? Do I have to bleep out stupid here?
You know, when
is stupid a swear word or not? That
No.
was pretty ambiguous.
I think stupid is not a swear word. The criteria for this challenge is if you were in grade 1 and if you said something, someone else might not tell on you.
Okay. Okay. This week's challenge, talk like a grade 1. Da-dum ba-da-da-dum, bum bum ba-dum ba-da-ba-da-da ba-ba-da-bum ba-da-dum. Okay, let's do this. I mean, the podcast giveth and the podcast taketh away.